Eastern PA Weather Authority meteorologist Bobby Martrich here with your outlook for January 5th, 2016. And for your Tuesday, we're going to have another very cold start to the morning. And temperature's not moderating too much, but the wind will be not quite as bad as it was yesterday and again last night. We will have winds dying down today. We're still out of the north today, about 7 to 12 miles per hour, but not nearly as gusty as yesterday, so it won't feel as cold as it was yesterday, and air temperatures will bump up a few degrees, but still staying below freezing in many locations across our coverage area. High pressure is sitting right over top of us today, so nothing but bright sunshine, and of course with high pressure over top of us, that's when your winds die down a little bit. So again, bright sunshine, very cold again today, not quite as cold feeling as it was yesterday, just because those winds are dying down. The temperatures go up a couple degrees from what they were on Monday. Moving forward here, this high pressure is actually going to sink off to our southeast eventually. It's going to take its time doing so, but here's the high pressure sinking off to the southeast of our coverage area here. Wednesday, that's going to allow the winds to shift direction from the north to more of a west-southwesterly direction. That's going to get the temperatures up here in the upper 30s to near 40 in many locations here on Wednesday, and then Thursday I think you get into the lower 40s, maybe mid-40s down south. Southern parts of our coverage area here. So you get slightly above normal for this time of year in terms of temperature, but this is going to be very important because the next system coming in here is going to be cutting to our west here, and depending on the track of that system, this does look like a rain event now on Friday night into early Saturday. There was a concern with some winter precipitation at the onset. I think the only place you'll have to worry about that would be up here in portions of northeastern PA and northwest New Jersey. Outside of that, I don't think you're looking at anything but a rain event on Friday night and Saturday morning. Now, it's not going to be a heavy rain, and I'll move that a little bit forward here so you can see what's going on with that. This is a very light event. It's kind of like a band of showers, or well, if you want to call it that, coming through here in the overnight hours here on Friday night and early Saturday. But again, the temperatures are going to be conducive for maybe some icing at the onset right in far northeastern Pennsylvania here. And what's going to happen with the system behind it that we're actually watching, and there's another one everybody's been hearing about, is the big one supposedly, is a big coastal storm possibility here on Sunday and Sunday night. Now, this has been showing on the models and the ensembles for several days now. In fact, over a week. It was a very strong signal for a strong area of low pressure to come up the coast here and drop a significant snowfall across at least the interior portions of our coverage area. That is not off the table yet, but the models are not currently showing that idea. A lot of what happens with that Sunday storm is going to be predicated on what happens with this system on Friday night. Again, not a lot of rain with that, but this is a quick mover Friday night into early Saturday morning. A lot is predicated on this area of low pressure here that's going to be cutting to our up through the Midwest and cutting into the Great Lakes. How strong this is, if it stays weaker and ends up a little bit further to the east here, makes a huge difference with what we can expect here with the trailing entry coming through that'll come up originate from the Gulf of Mexico and come up the coast here on Sunday. So a lot of things in play here, and I'll show you this here on the bigger map here so we can see what's going on. First things first, and I must say this is very important. We have all these little data stations all across the country. We have buoys offshore. We have all these airports and airplanes that take measurements constantly of the atmosphere. These observations from all over the country, all over the world, in fact, are plugged into a supercomputer model. And then the model just takes that information and simulates the future and predicts the future based on that current data. Well, out here offshore, we don't have anything to collect data. This is no man's land. There's nothing out here to collect data. Okay, so we have to wait for energy to come on shore in order for that data to be collected, and that'll be over Southern California. We don't have that yet. The system that will eventually come across the country is going to come into Southern California like this, right across Arizona and New Mexico, and kind of head up in this direction like this. Okay, so that's your primary low. It has not been sampled yet. The models are just guessing right now what's going to happen. So it's throwing everything else off downstream. Everything else is being thrown off until it figures out what's going on with this. It's very well possible it has figured it out, and it is guessing correctly. But until this energy comes on shore, which is going to be later today, later tonight, I'll be able to see better observations going to these models. So we're actually getting measurements out here with actual airport observations out here in the southwestern part of the United States. So We haven't given up on the idea that there could be a wintry event this weekend here, but at the same time, playing the odds would be fools to say that that's the preferred method. Here's the energy coming on shore here later today. That's going to scoot across the country and end up here is our low pressure. It's going to end up going up into the Great Lakes, and then you can see it right here. So again, it's going to be taking a Southern California track up here like this, and depending on how strong this gets, if the remains weak, the polar vortex, which is going to be situated right over here somewhere. This is your polar vortex. If this is weaker, this storm here is weaker, this area low pressure, it'll allow this energy, the cold air, to dive in quicker. So by the time this system comes up the coast here, it will be running into cold air as opposed to warmer air. So that's what we're waiting on right now. We're waiting on some observations to come in, and we don't know what's what to expect. The reason why we're going against the operational guidance, which is not showing a coastal storm, and going toward the idea of there might be a coastal storm, as you look at the ensembles, and the majority of them are all saying, hey, there's going to be a big area of low pressure out here somewhere. Somewhere in this area there's going to be a big area of low pressure, and it's moving up in this direction in the next frame. So again, the operational models might not be showing up, the ensembles are, so it's enough to at least keep our attention or pique our interest into that. And here's a look at the polar vortex we're looking at in that time frame. Again, here's what we're looking for. Here's Hudson Bay right here. So the polar vortex is just on the west, modeled right now on the western side, the Manitoba side of Hudson Bay here. We need to be over here on the eastern side, the Ontario side, and that if that's in fact what you want as far as to get cold temperatures in here and get that low originating out of the Gulf to come up the coast and meet that cold air. So that's your chance of snow, and that would be on Sunday. But right now, again, the most likely scenario is not for it to be snow. So we're just going to wait and see how this plays out. Wait till this energy is sampled in the southwestern United States and take the forecast from there. I'm Eastern PA Weather Authority meteorologist Bobby Martrich, and that is your outlook for January 5th, 2016. Have a great Tuesday.